Mike was muted. Mike was muted. All right. Um, so hello everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Like I said last week, we doing these things. We trying to do it at least once a week. Get some live stream content out there for you guys. Get to interact with the audience. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, I said I was going live. I am not centered in this screen, am I? Not at all. I said I was going live at 10:30. Caught some technical issues, so that's what I've been dealing with over the last 20. Actually, I was really trying to fix it for the last 40 minutes. But good thing I caught it, or else it would have kind of ruined the last part of the live stream. I'm supposed to play you a video of Kyle's shit takes on the vaccine mandates. But how's everybody doing in the chat? Let me know if there's any technical issues, audio issues. I know my mic was muted when I first came on. Let me see how many people in the chat. So I'm gonna start in a little bit. I'm just gonna let some more people come in. So they don't miss anything, so I don't have to repeat anything. So, what's up, everybody? How's it been since I've been live over the last week? Actually, matter of fact, let me address some things. I did not prepare for this at all, but I probably should have. But there was some pushback on the video I did last week. Well, actually, I recorded it last week. I uploaded it last night. About the Occupy Congress action that they had on the steps of the Capitol, where they were protesting the mass eviction and protesting for to end the homelessness crisis in this country. And so there was a couple things, but like, what are the main? Like I said, I should have probably prepared for this because I did want to address this in the live stream, but I got caught up preparing for the live stream. But some people were saying that they didn't like that I called Jackson Hinkle and Nick Brana and Paula Jean Swearengin activists because for whatever reasons that they gave. I thought that was kind of weird because my definition of activism is, are you actually agitating, applying pressure to centers of power to get change? That's my definition of activism. And regardless what you think of, and are you doing it sincerely? Like, is there sincere, is it a sincere effort to apply pressure? And regardless what you think of the people doing the activism, that's activism. So you can say, oh, whatever, Paula Jean Swearengin ran as a Democrat or she was a Justice Democrat or whatever it is. But she was still on the steps of the Capitol and she was still doing direct action for an important issue, and she got arrested doing that. So regardless what you think about her or Nick Brana or Jackson Hinkle, the fact that they ran as Democrats or the fact that they were a part of the movement for the People's Party, all that is irrelevant. What they did was activism, and I'm going to call it that because that's what it is. So I see more people are in the chat. I might as well get started because I got some things to get to. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, real briefly, is this little stunt theatrics spectacle around AOC and her going to the Met Gala wearing that goofy ass tax the rich dress, gown, whatever you want to call it. I mean, like, these things aren't just like one-off instances. This is just like continue like building up on how they are just clearly selling you out. All these Justice Democrats, all these so-called elected progressives, like, they're just selling us out in the open. And it's wild to me that there's some people it's wild to me that there's some people who consider themselves on the left and still simping for AOC in the squad. And it's like no matter what they do, they're going to just come out and defend it because it's the best thing that since sliced bread, like no matter what it is. So, I mean, in this case, I'm sure all of you already heard by now. She went to the Met Gala and first of all, so let me just explain to you what it is. It's some type of fundraiser, really it's just a giant display of wealth, obscene wealth. Glenn Greenwald, actually caught Glenn Greenwald on the Jimmy Dore live stream earlier. And he perfectly described it. I actually wrote it down because it was like literally the perfect explanation or description of what the Met Gala is. He says, quote, "It's a vulgar testament to capitalism." And that's exactly what it is. It's a bunch of millionaires and billionaires getting together to show off their obscene wealth. And the tickets to get into this event is $30,000. It's $35,000 to get in. So it is just, like I said, just like Glenn Greenwald said, a vulgar testament to capitalism. Just wealth on display. And hey man, if you got the money, I'm not. I mean, it's just, and it's extremely out of touch with everything that's happening right now. So for somebody like AOC, who brands herself as this socialist and whatever you want to call it, for her to be participating in an event like this is wild. The hypocrisy is wild. So I'm sorry, give me 1 second. That was I got a text message coming in and my phone is on very loud. But it's for somebody who claims to be, against the corporatism and the capitalism run amok, which is just really capitalism. It's a natural habitat. If you are opposed to that, you are allegedly leading a political movement. You got elected opposing this insane wealth inequality. Why then how does it make sense for you to be participating in literally one of the most extreme, obscene displays of wealth in the history of capitalism, which is this Met Gala, where a bunch of millionaires and billionaires spend tens of thousands of dollars on outfits and spend $30,000, $35,000 on a ticket just to, like I said, display their wealth. Why would you participate in that? What in this? There's a alternative to that. Even if you wanted to use that moment as a spotlight to spotlight important issues and to spotlight wealth inequality, there's a way you can do it. There's a way that an activist, a real activist, would engage in that. And that was like how the activists were outside of the Met Gala, where they got brutalized and arrested by the police because they were bringing attention to the obscenity of this entire event, while 20 million people are being evicted, while we still have no healthcare in the middle of a fucking pandemic. Millions of people unemployed. Millions of people just got thrown off of the unemployment. There were people outside protesting this obscenity because it's gross. It's fucking gross. And all the spectacle, the spotlight, the media attention was focused on that event. So people showed up to make some noise and try to remind people what's actually happening in the country. So if you really want to use that moment to capitalize on that moment to raise awareness about wealth inequality, that's what you would have done. You would have been outside with the activists, but what was she doing? She was inside gallivanting and fucking glad-handing with all the millionaires and billionaires, because that's what she's there for. That's what she was there for. And the whole tax the rich being written on her address, that was just fucking theater so she can justify it to her undying, faithfully faithful simps in her following. It was so that she can justify even being there, even making the appearance there. And the excuse was, oh my God, did you see my dress? It said tax the rich. I had everybody talking about tax the rich. And so there were so many things to say about this. I don't want to go on about this forever, but one point that's been going around and is extremely valid. Who is that for? Who is that for? You were the tax the rich thing, and what? Like, did she now make it a popular position in the country to tax the rich? It's been overwhelmingly popular. Everybody knows the rich don't pay taxes. Everybody knows that they have all these loopholes and shit like that. Amazon pays literally $0 in federal income tax. These billionaires like literally pay $0 in federal income tax. People know this. People understand that they are paying a higher percentage in tax than the wealthiest people in this country, and so that's why that position's been always, for as long as I can remember, it's always been incredibly popular. So what like you were to the thing, and well, you start a conversation. Okay, the conversation's already started. The conversation's already been had, and we get the memo. So, and it's kind of reminds me of like all the credit that people keep trying to give them because they made Medicare for All popular. Excuse me, I don't think you need to convince people that you need healthcare or that they need healthcare. I think people know that they need healthcare, and I think people in this country know that they can't afford it. And once they know, so like this idea that, oh, because Bernie Sanders talked about Medicare for All, because AOC talked about Medicare for All, now everybody wants it, and that's enough for everybody can wipe their hands and we did enough, we made it popular, so get off our ass and now you go do something. That's bullshit. You guys are people with power, people to write legislation, people to actually pressure with in a position to pressure institutions in a way that nobody else can. So just talking about an issue to the public, it's kind of tired, and it's not really getting us anywhere, especially at this moment where it's the situation is more dire than ever, and people are still talking about making an issue popular instead of actually what are you doing to advance the issue. So that was an important point to make. And then also, there was another great point, which is that the people who were at this event, all these millionaires and billionaires, all the media elites who were basking in this obscenity of wealth, these are the same people who are trying to impose these COVID measures on people. Oh, wear masks. You got to wear the mask inside. Oh, you can't go to certain events. And again, I'm not saying, oh, don't take any precautions because of COVID. But I'm just want to point out the wild hypocrisy here. Because all of these people, even though it's shown that once you're vaccinated, you can still spread the virus, especially with the Delta variant or any of these new variants. You can still spread it just as much as anybody else. So it's best practice to be wearing a mask inside. So that's what they've been going on telling everybody. Oh, you have to wear a mask inside. You have to wear a mask inside. You got to be social distancing and all this stuff. All of these rich ass millionaires and billionaires, they were all at this event. None of them were wearing any fucking masks. But the only people at the event who were wearing masks were the workers. So all the servants have to wear masks because something COVID regulations. But all the millionaires and billionaires, oh no, you're good. Don't worry about it. You're good. So this is something that I've kind of talked about before. It's this selective who gets to wear a mask and who doesn't. It is really highlighting this a strong class divide between the working class poor people and the people who are well off. And I talked about this on Twitter for a while ago. During COVID, I had to get a job at a restaurant, and I was wearing a mask. All the staff was wearing a mask, and nobody in the restaurant is wearing a mask. So it just it's just a weird thing to me that those are the rules set in place as if that's scientific and if that's like based in science. It is wildly anti-science. If we were being real about it, in a pandemic, until it's at least better under control than it is now, there shouldn't be indoor dining. There shouldn't be. So the fact that you're gonna have it and then have these weird rules in place, like, oh, only the staff has to wear masks, as if that's gonna stop the spread of it, while there are hundreds of people eating in the restaurant a day without a mask, it's just weird. And all it does, it kind of dehumanizes the working class even more. So that was on display there at the Met Gala too. And there was a final point that I wanted to make, and it was a good one, and it slipped my mind. But I'm gonna read the chat, and maybe it's gonna come back to me. Let me see what you guys are saying about this. Desert Mantis says, Desert Mantis says AOC is great at publicity stuff. That's literally all she fucking does at this point. That is literally all she does. She doesn't advance any political issues. She doesn't advance any policy agendas. She's just there doing political stunts and getting media attention and just being the center of attention for herself. Google user said literally copied directly off of Chick-fil-A. That is definitely the Chick-fil-A font that she used on that dress. But that's neither here nor there. But I also noticed that too, and it was pretty funny. Let me see. Okay, I really can't remember what it is. It was like a central point that I wanted to make about this whole AOC theatrics at the Met Gala. But I already said enough about it, so I could kind of move on to the next topic, which is Nina Turner, everybody. Nina Turner. Oh, and by the way, so if you guys want to help contribute to the show, the link to Streamlabs is in the description box of this video, right underneath this video. If you noticed, you can't do any super chats because my channel's been demonetized for over a year on YouTube. I've been trying to figure it out. It's a whole headache. But like I said, I can't get super chats. If you want your message to be read on screen, or you want it to appear on screen, if you go to Streamlabs, you can basically do the same thing as if it were a super chat. So you can go there, do it on Streamlabs. I'll obviously read your comments and respond. You can send a message through PayPal and a donation on PayPal as well. And I'm sorry to somebody who sent me a $5 donation on PayPal. Last time I was streaming, I didn't catch it until the stream was done. I think they sent it like towards the end of the stream and I missed it. So I apologize for that. But if you send me a donation on PayPal, I will, I'll read it and I'll obviously thank you for it. But yeah, all the links to help support the show, PayPal, Patreon, GoFundMe, all this in the description box of this video. And so I'm going to, let's get into this whole Nina Turner situation. So some of you may have heard, some of you may not have heard. Nina Turner, once firebrand lefty, is now, after her failed congressional race, she is now joining the Young Turks. And this is just fucking hilarious. This is, like I said, like when I spoke about the AOC story before, like they're just doing it out like in our face now. Like they're just openly flaunting how much they don't give a fuck, how much they're just in it for themselves. And like they have no real intent of advancing the policy agenda that they use to become incredibly popular. Like I said, they use it to become popular, and then after that, it's just they're in it for themselves. And it's weird to me how many people are still just being obtuse on purpose at this point. If you don't see how much all of these charlatans from the Bernie Sanders orbit, all of his the politicians affiliated with him, all the people who are like the highest levels affiliated with his campaign. If you don't see how much they're fucking selling you out, for their own self-interest at this point, I don't know what to tell you. You have Jeff Weaver and Roca, Tom Roca. What I don't know, remember his first name. People who are high level Bernie Sanders campaign. As soon as the campaign done, started fucking pro Biden super PACs and shit like that. You have, of course, the Justice Democrats. Literally just a bunch of partisan hacks at this point. Our Revolution rebranding as pragmatic progressives. And it's literally all of them. All of them sold you out. All of them are just trying to advance their careers, and they don't give a fuck about advancing the agenda. Because if that were the case, they would be leading the charge. They are in the best position out of anybody in the country to lead the charge of direct action, lead a charge for general strikes or targeted strikes in key and essential industries like healthcare or education or logistics like trucking and things like that. They are in a better position than anybody else to lead that kind of movement. That's the only type of that's really our only option at this point to advance our policy agenda. And it is so telling that literally none of them, including Bernie Sanders, are going to take that route. None of them have any intention of taking that route. And what are they going to do? They're just going to they're in it to serve themselves and to benefit themselves. And hey man, I'm not against people advancing their own careers. You can do that. But what I have an issue with is when you ride a fucking movement and you then co-opt all that energy, redirect all that energy into, instead of, like I said, advancing the policy agenda of the movement, you redirect that energy into advancing your own career ambitions and your own career agenda. That's where I have a issue with it. And so, again, Nina Turner is well on that path, joining TYT. And that is such a slap in the fucking face to anybody who's like seriously following these issues, seriously on the left, and is aware of the dynamics of what's happening in this country, what's happening on the left, in the left space, and what's happening in left media. TYT has become a fucking laughingstock, epic betrayer of the movement. And like in any way imaginable, they smeared Julian Assange, they smeared Medicare for All activists, poor, sick healthcare activists trying to advance single payer, whether it was through force to vote or the recent Medicare for All marches. They were on the wrong side of that, shitting on that, smearing truth tellers on the left and shilling for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, vote blue no matter who bullshit. As they continue to screw the working class that they claim to be representing. Democrats have complete control of government. And they're still doing fuck all to help you. But the TYT crew will still tell you got to go out and vote for them in the next election. So they are decidedly on the wrong side of the left on every issue. Syria, fucking doing pro-war propaganda and smearing people like Aaron Mate, debunking the bullshit from the State Department and the Pentagon to antagonize us to I'm sorry. I saw something on the screen and I got distracted. But antagonize us to continue our occupation and a military intervention in Syria. They are just on the wrong side of all of this shit. And of course, taking the corporate money and clearly changing their tone in a way that so that they are more palatable to the partisan hacks in the Democratic Party, to the DNC itself and their donors, because they got millions of dollars, $20 million from one of the top donors to the Democratic Party. So they are as corrupt, as morally bankrupt as a media institution could get. So when Nina Turner makes the decision on her own, of her own will and volition, to join these frauds on their network, What else? What other decision is what's left to be said about that? She's showing you who she is. So it's I mean, I've written articles about this. I've made videos about this. It is clear the direction that Nina Turner is going in, and her joining TYT is just an epic slap in the face. It's a slap in the face for all the people who don't raise. She raised $4 million in her election just now. $4 million from poor people and working class people, and then obviously that's all up in smoke. As I said, it was going to happen anyway. But now that all the money was all up in smoke, and all the people who donated to her because they thought she was going to advance the policy agenda, what's she going to do? Is she taking to the streets right now to fight for the issues? Thank you, North American Ape, for that $1 donation. I'll read the message in a minute after I finish this. Is she going to go in this? Is she like, all right, y'all really funded me, y'all came through for me, and I'm going to show you that I'm going to keep fighting for you regardless if I'm in Congress or not? Is that what she's doing? No. Is she organizing workers so that they could go on strike in across the country, or even in her own district or in her own state? No, she's not. No, she's not. Is she using her influence to pressure the Democratic Party as they control every level of government at this moment? No, she's not. What she's going to do is join TYT and fit right into the club. Be the fraud squad. Be part of the fraud squad defense league. Be part of Team Democrat and Team Vote Blue, no matter who. Again, while they continue to shaft us, while they have complete control of government. So again, it's just showing us who they really are. Nina Turner is showing you who she really is. And I don't know how much more people need to see. And I said this when I was on a panel that Sabby Sabs hosts. She's one of the amazing hosts on Fred Hampton Leftist. She had a panel of the new left media, the people who have rose in left new media, the regular people, activists, or just regular commentators who now have grown and now have a platform that's grown over the last year. She had me on. She had Jackson Hinkle from the Dive on. She had Zach and Gavin from the Vanguard. She had on Kamali from I think he does his own thing. He's like does his own independent show. She had other people from Fred Hampton Leftist on, RJ and I forget who else was on the panel. But we had a discussion, and at one point somebody asked what's the difference between like what's the left media, like what we're doing and what the old media is doing. And I made the point that we are willing to take in new information and adapt accordingly, and change our message accordingly, change our strategy accordingly. And one of the main points I was making is how much more do people need to see from these charlatans before they finally draw a line in the sand and see, you know what, enough is enough. They clearly aren't going to do anything. Because even if you don't want to go as far as me and call them frauds and sellouts, you have some hope. What do you think? In a week from now, what, Nina Turner is going to flip a switch and she's going to go scorched earth and go balls to the wall and fight to advance our policy agenda, go 10 times harder than she has been over the last 2 years? No, that's not going to happen. You think AOC is going to flip on a dime and start shitting on Nancy Pelosi, doing direct actions outside of Nancy Pelosi's office again, or applying public pressure so that she could do any number of things that she has in her power to help people, to bail the people out in the middle of a crisis? No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They haven't done that over the last 2 years. They're not going to do it next week. They're not going to do it next month. Do you think Bernie Sanders is going to go to the mat against Chuck Schumer to actually have the Senate Democrats do fucking anything at all? No, he's not. So these people have chosen the trajectory of their career. And once the trajectory is chosen, you don't expect any wild departures. Nina Turner is she's been going down this path for a while. That's why I've been writing articles about it. That's why I've been doing videos about it. She's been going down this path for a while. Now she goes and joins TYT, the fucking epicenter of the fraud in the left movement. And so that's the trajectory that she's on. So stop expecting her to do anything to fight for you, because she's not. So let me read what's going on in the chat. What's happening? What's popping? And also, actually, let me get to North American Apes donation. So he sent a $1 donation. I don't know how anyone. I don't know how anyone can sit here and rationalize this move. Nina Turner is more popular than TYT, so why not create her own network like Breonna Joy Gray, especially when TYT is so tainted, but folks still have the dream that she'll push them left. And that's a great point. That's something that I should have mentioned before. She has all the name recognition you can possibly ask for. She's a national figure. She was co-chair of Bernie Sanders' campaign. She was the president of our revolution. She has as much name recognition, and she once had as much credibility on the left as anybody else. So why on earth do you need to join TYT? You don't need to. It's not necessary to get your message across. And regardless of her previous name recognition or not, what have we all been doing? What have all these new hosts in left media have been doing? We are nobodies with no name recognition, but what we did was get in front of a fucking camera and a fucking microphone. We spoke the truth to people, and then we got an audience from it. So if Nina Turner wanted to tell the truth, and if she had her truth to speak, buy a fucking microphone, buy a fucking camera, sit in front of a computer, and speak to an audience. You don't need to go on the Young Turks to do that. So again, she made that decision because that's the trajectory she wants for her career. She doesn't want to be a lefty truth teller. She wants to fit in at TYT. She wants to fit in on the in crowd with the elites of this so-called left, but really a bunch of fucking shit libs. That's what she wants. That's why she's going to TYT. Let me see what's happening in the live chat now. Henry Covert says, I wonder how Tim Black feels about Nina Turner's career move. I wonder that too, because he was out there shitting on everybody left and right after Nina Turner lost, losing his fucking mind. I mean, he already lost his mind a while ago, but acting fucking outrageous and out of control, and just hurling shit at anybody who... honestly, he was just hurling shit at anybody, because he was hurling shit at Breonna Joy Gray as if Breonna Joy Gray was like some harsh critic of Nina Turner. No, she wasn't. And honestly, that's a criticism I have of Breonna Joy Gray. She wasn't tough enough on Nina Turner. And then, yeah, she's friends with her. She worked with her on the campaign. But hey, you're in media now, and she was a politician. You have a job to actually to be keep it real with your audience about what to expect. So, so he was just hurling shit at anybody. And I do wonder what he thinks about this shit. I don't know. Of course, he'll probably defend it, just like he'll defend anything else from these shitty charlatan politicians. The Daily Dope Show says she's not fighting at all. That is the fucking truth. None of them are fighting at all. And it's a sad state of affairs what's happening on the left right now. It really is, because everybody, I don't. It is really, this whole last year and a half has been a great unmasking. Last 2 years has been a great unmasking, because all the people that we had so much, I wouldn't say hope or faith in, so much respect in, and so much admiration and belief that they were actually fighting for us, all of them showed their ass, and they're just in it for themselves, and they have no intention of doing what's necessary to advance our policy agenda. None of them, not the politicians, and not the fucking new media. Not new media. Not the Young Turks, not Cenk Uygur, not Anna Kasparian, not Sam Cedar with his MSNBC show, not Emma Vigeland, also shilling for MSNBC now, not Tim Black, not David Pakman, not David Dole, not Mike Figueredo. None of them, not Kyle Kulinski, none of them are willing to do what's necessary to advance our policy agenda, and they really just seem like they're just riding the wave at this point, and it's just like they're just doing their fucking day job. They're gonna get in front of the fucking camera and talk to people, make a bunch of money, and not shit is gonna change, but they're not gonna do anything different to make sure any change happens. So it's really a sad state of affairs on the left right now, and people need to realize, people need to understand that the movement is coming from the people. That any change is coming from the people. Any advancement in our policy agenda is coming from the fucking people. It's coming from the streets. It's coming from people who are going to make noise. It's coming from people who are going to do direct action. It's coming from people who are going to make politicians and the media uncomfortable and make it so that business as usual can't continue. So none of the people that I mentioned before, then none of them are ever going to do it. Let me see. Oh, 72 people in the live stream. Wow, that's nice. It's only my second live stream. This is thank you all for showing up, showing out. Let me see. Thanks Little Rock Elevators for subscribing. Let me see what's happening in the live chat still. Everybody's David Williams says everybody's got to eat. Hey man, I understand that. I definitely understand everybody's got to eat. But like I said earlier, don't ride the fucking movement and run it into a ditch just so you can eat, because that's some selfish shit. That is some horrific shit, because people are dying in the streets right now. People are dying and unnecessarily their lives being destroyed, and you can't jump in front of a fucking movement that's trying to do something about that and derail it just so you can advance your own fucking career. If you're that hard up for fucking cash, I don't know, get a job somewhere or do some fucking corporate work or do some other shit. Just get out of the fucking way and stop running us into a fucking ditch. Stop misdirecting the energy in a way that serves your own fucking self-interest. That's my message to all these people. Henry Covert says, this is a great channel. Thank you so much for showing up, and thank you so much for the great words. A Google user says Tim Black trying to become the Alex Jones of the left. Honestly, he's damn near as unhinged, so he's up there in getting that title. He working for that shit. The Debate Me channel says Tim Black said that everybody else are fools because Nino was already working at TYT, so he's laughing at the outrage. I mean, come on, like, this is what I'm saying. They're always going to find some way to make it seem like, oh no, it's not that bad, and you're crazy if you think it's that bad. There's a point there that she's been making a bunch of appearances on TYT. That's true. But it wasn't official, and I don't think she was actually a hired an employee. So that is a difference in the dynamics. Holy shit, my laptop's about to die. That changes the calculus a little bit, and it's wildly disingenuous to pretend like it doesn't. Let me plug this in before I kill this live stream, and I'm not even done yet. So let me see what else is happening in the chat. And also, I love that doing these chats with you all. It's amazing. You guys always leave amazing comments on the videos, and I tell you guys this all the time. I literally read every single comment that anybody has ever posted on any of my videos. It is hard for me to respond though. I'm being real with you, and I definitely need to be better at it. But these live streams give me a chance to talk to the audience, and it's great. So thank you all for showing up. It's been amazing, and we still have one more story left, and I'm just gonna continue with the chats. But first, if you guys want to help contribute to the show, the links are in the description box of this video. If you notice, you can't do super chats because my channel is demonetized. If you want to have like a super chat, something like that, you can go to the Streamlabs link that's in the description of this video. It's the first link in the description of this video. And like North American Ape did earlier in the stream, he donated $1. His message came up on the screen and I read it. If you want to do the same and you want to help support the show, because I need the money, you can donate through Streamlabs. If you want to donate through PayPal, the links to that is also in the description box, and I'll read those messages on screen. I can't put them on screen yet. There's a way to do it, definitely, but I haven't figured it out yet. I'll see the message and I'll read it to the audience, and of course, I'll thank you for that. Patreon, the link to Patreon is in the description box of this video. And I'm incredibly grateful for all my loyal patrons. I've had some amazing people sign up for my Patreon and continue to support the show for a very long time. And I think that it's incredible because I don't even post content. I've never posted anything on Patreon, and it's just literally they're doing it to help support the show and in a monthly recurring way. So I think big ups to all my Patreon patrons. Let's see what's happening in the chat before I move on. Ricky Jones says the progressive movement is dead. The Bernie Sanders movement is fucking dead. Anything that was related to him, like I rattled off all the fucking organizations, all the people that were in his orbit who sold us down the fucking river to advance their own career. The Bernie Sanders movement is fucking dead, and honestly, I have to do I might write an article about that and to do a video about it because that's just the truth, and it's undeniable at this point. Undeniable. There is no debate to be had there. There's no equal and opposite argument on the other side. No, the movement is fucking dead. But what isn't dead is the energy that was there, the urgency that was there, that people have to actually change shit, because people's lives are on the line here. People are dying because they don't have healthcare. People are being evicted, and people are living in extreme poverty completely unnecessarily and unavoidably. So that energy is still there. That urgency is there, and it's more than ever. So even though the Bernie Sanders movement is dead, which might actually be a good thing, because like I said, full of fucking charlatans and careerists, even though the movement is dead, all hope is not lost, even though it feels like it at the moment. It just needs to be redirected. And I'm gonna stay here. I'm not going anywhere. And I guarantee you, there are too many people here in this country that are suffering for there not to be a real uprising of actual grassroots organizers and activists that really take charge and bring some Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X movement energy, and bring that type of activism back to life. So the Bernie Sanders movement is dead, but that urgency is still here. It's here more than ever. And I'm telling y'all, I'm gonna be here when shit picks up again. Austin B says you should talk more about the escalating tensions with China. Honestly, it is an issue. I think there's been the fear mongering is off the chain, and it's clearly to serve the interest of the military industrial complex who and the national security apparatus that live off of this fucking what you call it, this the fear that people have of some big threat around the corner. They are definitely fear mongering around China, and also on when it comes to economics too. Honestly, I just need to. I want to give the most informed take that I can on the issue before I do a whole video on it. So I definitely feel the sentiment. I just like I said, when I speak about something, I want to be I want to be certain, and I want to be I don't want to be you guys know what I mean. My brain's getting tired, but I want to be clear, certain, and I don't want my arguments to be picked apart by some inaccuracies or anything like that. So I just need to do more research on it, and I really should for you all. All right, so whoa, we have a Kyle Kalinske video to break down, and just more fucking shambles for the left media ecosystem right now. So Kyle Kalinske has had some cringe takes lately. I mean, I made a tweet about it the other day, And go follow me on Twitter at unapologetic.yt. Y'all find me there when I'm not posting videos here. I made a tweet about it because it's like at this point he's entered his Bill Maher incredibly out of touch and unrepentant character arc. He just does not. He's so wildly off the mark and out of touch with what's actually happening, and just like completely stuck in his ways and unwilling to entertain anything else. It's just so all his content right now is just fucking unbearable to watch. It's basically useless, and it's a bunch of fucking Fox News reaction videos and now he's simping for Biden when it comes to just any random fucking topic you could think of. Afghanistan, even though he was fucking massacring civilians, even though he was responsible for the war for 20 fucking years, simping for Joe Biden as if we need to fucking throw him a fucking parade because he wanted to do slightly less genocide in Afghanistan. And now, I mean, there's so many other things. His cringe takes on defund the police and his bullshit, don't call my favorite politician sellouts shtick fucking routine that he's stuck on. So yeah, that's where Kyle's direction of the show is gone. And something that I disagree with him a lot on is the way he's been talking about COVID, or the way he's been talking about the vaccine mandates and things like that. So I have a video that I cut and put together where he was talking about the vaccine mandates. First of all, he does this his thing where he just makes up a new like phrasing and new definition, and he wants to say it's not a mandate, it's a soft mandate. Just like his Washington brain, or his rebranding and his completely invented definition of what corruption is. Now he's doing the same thing with mandates. But he said he was talking about the vaccine mandates. And one of my issues with the way he's been covering COVID is he's putting a lot of... I look really fucking dark. That lighting is real shit right now. He's been putting he's been punching down a lot when it comes to this virus, and to the point where it's like I said, it's just fucking cringe, it's unbearable, and the content is just fucking it's just useless at this point. There was one time when Kyle was giving takes that you wouldn't find anywhere else, and they were more relevant than you would find anywhere else, but those days are gone. Bunch of fucking punching down. And so I'll show you the video, and then but before I show the video, let me just correct one thing that he's going to keep repeating. He's going to keep saying, "Oh, it's not a mandate." Thank you, Curtis Frazier Jr. for subscribing. He keeps saying, "Oh, it's not a mandate because something, something, something." It is definitely a mandate it's a mandate. Let's say that, and explicitly a mandate with no other options, no workaround. It's either you get the vaccine or you get fired if you're a federal employee or you're a federal contractor. That's millions of people. So that's a mandate for millions of people. And he keeps leaving that out and keeps acting like that's not a thing. But anyway, I'll show you the clip, and I'll come back and break it down, and let me know what you guys think about it in the chat, and I'll get to your chat when I'm done. So this is going to be my first time ever playing a video on stream. So I hope I get it right. That's what took me so long to start the stream, actually, because I was trying to work it the correct way. And so I think I figured it out. So let's try it, and I'll be checking the chat to see if everything's going okay. Let me know if if the video's playing okay for you all. So I have the clip. Give me 1 second. I'll get that up for you.
But my whole thing was, I like the idea of soft mandates. And you know what I would describe this Biden move as? A soft mandate. Because he's giving people the wiggle room of you could show a negative test once a week. If this was Joe Biden saying, I'm mandating everybody in America gets the vaccine, end of conversation, I'd say, no, that goes too far. That's government overreach. If the government can compel you to put this in your arm and give you no wiggle room, well, why should we trust the same government that lied us into the Iraq War, did the Tuskegee experiments, did Operation Northwoods, did the Bay of Pigs, did internment of Japanese Americans, did Native American genocide? Like, the list goes on and on. Yes, there's reason to be skeptical. There's reason to not trust the government. You have to evaluate each thing they do on their own merits. This happens to be an area where they're correct that the vaccine would help you. It's safe and effective. But because they have no credibility, and they shouldn't have any credibility, anybody who's being honest about that can admit that, there should be wiggle room to get out of taking the vaccine. Now, again, this is an issue where they happen to be correct, but I like that they're giving people the out of you can test once a week instead. He used a scolding tone. He didn't use a scolding tone. He was being honest with people. He was telling them the truth. And when he said, just so everybody understands, vaccinated Americans are sort of fed up now with the unvaccinated Americans because this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. You have over 95% protection from hospitalization and death if you get the vaccine. So the hospitals absolutely are full of unvaccinated patients with COVID. Absolutely. There have been people who have died waiting for a bed for other procedures. Now, how are people going to react when 70% of the country's had at least one shot? How are they going to react when they look at that story? What are they going to do? What are they going to say? Everybody's thinking it. Everybody's looking at it going, that person should have got vaccinated, and that bed should have been available for the person who was in the hospital for the other reason. That's what they're thinking. And you know what? They're correct. I don't care how much. Oh, my feelings! Oh, my feelings! You hurt me personally and emotionally and psychologically by telling me accurate things. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care. I don't care. There's all the evidence in the world is out there that explains in detail why this is the right way to go. We've covered the studies on this show. Go back and look at the secular talk segments on the vaccine. You know, I couldn't have been more clear. I showed you the graphs and the charts every step of the way.
All right, so give me one. The audio playback was not perfect. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the audio to play directly to you all. I can't do that, so I had to play through the speakers on the computer. So that's why you heard an echo. But I'll figure that out later on. But so what I really wanted you all to see there is this wild contradiction that so many people on the left have when it comes to the vaccine. So in the first, it was from two different videos in the same show that he made that I put together. In the first video, he acknowledges why some people don't trust the government, because the government has proven time and time again that they should not be trusted. They've burned public trust. There's a crisis of credibility in all of the major institutions. That is not on us. That is on them. Kyle understands that everybody on the left who is critical of power, critical of institutions, they understand how corrupt our institutions have been forever. And he lists all the different ways that the government's burned public trust, and even specifically when it comes to the issue of health. But then in the very next video that he posts on his channel, which I cut and I played right back after that, he's going around blaming fucking unvaccinated people and doing the whole pandemic of the unvaccinated and all that bullshit. And he's saying, why don't you trust the vaccine? I showed you all the graphs and all the studies. Everybody says it's great, it's safe, it works, and all that stuff. But again, you're contradicting yourself, because you just laid out all the reasons, not all the reasons, nowhere near all the reasons, but a good amount of reasons why people don't trust the government. So even if the vaccines work, and there's a debate about that in the medical community about how effective they are, they definitely reduce the risk of severe illness, but these vaccines are not perfect and they were not completely tested. So let's be real about that. But even if that you have all these studies that you claim support you, people do not trust the government. So you can have all the data, all the studies, people do not trust them because they burned their credibility. These public health institutions burn their credibility. Fuck everything else that he mentioned in the first half of the video. On COVID alone, they have lied relentlessly this entire pandemic. On the pandemic. Dr. Fauci lied about where it came from. He lied about masks working, literally said masks don't fucking work. The CDC was manipulating data. I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a time when they were just reporting numbers directly to the public. And then Trump, the White House, gave them an order that they're not allowed to publicly release data anymore unless it goes directly through the White House. So the White House was literally manipulating. Thanks, North American Aid, for the $1 donation. I'll read that in a second. The White House was literally manipulating data for political purposes. Data on a fucking pandemic, on cases, on deaths, and all that stuff for political purposes. You have instances like where states where it was just malpractice in the states. New York being the prime example. Cuomo lied about him. He directed the public health department in New York to lie about COVID deaths. At least 12,000 deaths that we know about. It's confirmed that he fucking lied about. So while there were bodies in trucks, while they were digging mass graves to dump bodies in New York, the governor and the public health department was fucking lying to people and manipulating data. So they've lied every step of the fucking way through this pandemic. And so when the vaccine comes out, how on earth do you blame people for not believing them? How do you blame people for not believing the studies that you apparently are taking as gospel now? How are you blaming people for not trusting the data? They've showed that they're going to fucking lie about it at every fucking turn. So, and like I said before, it's just a whole bunch of punching down. Because, and here's the way I would, the earlier Kyle Kalinske that drew me to political commentary would not be punching down. He would not be punching down, regardless of the situation, regardless of the hospitals being full in some areas of the country. And yes, the hospitals are full in some areas in the country. There are some hospitals where it's not true, where that's not the case, but there are some areas where it is true. Speaking anecdotally, my mother works in a nursing home, and at at the height of the pandemic, I haven't asked her about it recently, but actually she spoke about it recently to me. But during the height of the pandemic, they were I used to talk to her about it all the time, and she would tell me that there are hospitals in the area that they're supposed to send the patients from the nursing home when they get sick. And at some point, they were literally telling them, we do not have room for you to send any patients if they're sick. So it is true that hospitals are being full. But what I don't understand is I understand why they're doing now. Because they want to shift blame. The institutions of power want to shift blame onto the public, and they want us to fight amongst ourselves and blame each other for the pandemic. But the Kyle Kalinske I knew that, like I said, that drew me to political commentary. He wouldn't be punching down if the hospitals are full. He wouldn't be blaming regular people, poor people, sick people, that for the hospitals being fucking full. You know who's to blame for the hospitals being full? Politicians. You know who's to blame for all these unnecessary deaths happening right now? It's fucking politicians. Because for all of the pressure to vaccinate everybody, because that's what's going to save lives, right? You know what would save way more lives? Arguably multiple, actually not even arguably, it would save multiple times more lives if we had single payer. So many people in this country are dying because they can't afford basic healthcare. They're getting COVID and they don't want medical treatment because they know they're going to get bankrupt. If we had single payer, we would avoid so many deaths. Hundreds of thousands of people would not have died. And also on this whole, actually I'll get to that in a little bit. So you want to blame people for hospitals being full. Where's the blame at the politicians who've allowed hospitals to close across the country? Over the last 10 years, last 20 years, there've been over like 100 hospital closures across the country in rural areas. So you think that hospitals would be full if we had hundreds more hospitals in this country? Do you think if they stopped building so many fucking prisons for this police state and instead built hospitals, do you think hospitals will be full and fucking overrun? No. So the blame for hospitals being full, like I said, that lies with the fucking politicians. New York, again, back to New York. Cuomo cut $2.5 billion from Medicaid in the middle of the fucking pandemic. In the middle of the pandemic, he cut $2.5 billion that's supposed to go to hospitals, that's supposed to go to the health infrastructure in New York. So if you want to blame people for hospitals being overrun, for there being short staff, blame the fucking politicians. Stop blaming people for that shit. Because now they're demonizing unvaccinated people and acting like the pandemic's all our fault now. It's your fault if you didn't get the vaccine. And it makes no sense because this pandemic of the unvaccinated. First of all, we have the vaccines here, more vaccines than anywhere else around the world. But we're still leading the world in cases and deaths. So there's clearly something wrong here with the way that the government is handling the pandemic. Because even before there was any vaccines, we were hit way worse than any other country in the world. So that has nothing to do with unvaccinated people. Because France never had this amount of deaths. They never had these amount of cases as we had here. So it's clearly mismanagement on behalf of the government. They in those countries, and I saw the chat right there, Brandon Calentano says, pay people to stay home for fuck's sake. In those countries, they've paid people to stay home. They pay people thousands of dollars a month since last March to stay home. That's why it's not raging out of control where they are. So like I said, it's mismanagement on behalf of the government is why the pandemic is raging out of control here. But that is completely missing from Kyle's analysis from now that I see. It's blame the unvaccinated people. And I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this shit. Stop punching down. How about you punch up to the people in power who have actually the ability to do something, but they won't do anything. And people are acting like, oh, the vaccine is the only way to do anything to stop all these deaths. No, it isn't. There are many things that the government could be doing right now, but they don't want to do it because they disrupt corporate profit. So if you want to blame anybody, I'll repeat it again. Blame the fucking politicians, blame the institutions who burn public trust, and stop blaming regular people for that bullshit. So that's my take on that video. Let me see what North American Ape says. He donated another $1 through Streamlabs. And if you guys want to, like I said, my super chats have been disabled because my channel is not monetized on YouTube anymore. So if you want to send a donation, you want your comment to pop up on screen, you can do what North American Ape did and send a donation through Streamlabs. Streamlabs link is the first link in the description box right underneath this video. North American Ape said, give me 1 second. That video drove me crazy. Where is the wiggle room? Nico got this right. Employers will not want to, excuse me, can't see that. Employers will not want to foot the bill for weekly testing, essentially forcing them to choose vaccination. Kyle knows this, but he's acting dumb. And that's another thing. Like, if it's going to be on the employers to provide the test, they're just going to fire people. So it is, either way, it is coercion. You are forcing people to do something. And even if you agree with the vaccines, even if you think that's the best way to go about this, there are better ways to get people to take the vaccine. You think if you offer people $10,000, which is a fraction of what they should have been paying us this entire fucking time anyway, if you offer people $10,000 to take the vaccine, I guarantee you millions and millions of people in this country will take that vaccine. Fuck everything else. Their financial situation is so desperate, they don't give a fuck what's in that vaccine if you give them $10,000. So if you want to get people to get vaccinated, there's a litany of ways to do it. and more productive ways to do it in the opposite direction other than brute force and fucking coercion. But that's not even part of the conversation anymore. Now, that is the only donation I see, so I'm going to go to the live chat, see what's happening in the live chat. Trying to go back to when I was talking in the story, so I can see your reaction to like the video I showed you from Kyle and some of my comments. Rebecca Mara says Kyle sounds like Biden. I mean, it's really weird how hard he's going for Biden lately, and now this is the second important issue where he's just fucking in lockstep with Biden. And again, it's weird because Biden is arguably more to blame than anybody else for the vaccine, the pandemic being out of control. So for him to just be in lockstep with Biden and take Biden's side and do the punching down and trying to blame people and try to divide people and make people blame each other for this pandemic, it's just a weird direction to go in. Contemplation of a Stranger says, great show. Agree that Kyle is totally insufferable nowadays, but how does his views keep growing? So that's actually funny because he's been close to 1 million subs for a while. Then he took that hit when he made that video about Jimmy Dore, lost a bunch of subscribers. But and I do think that YouTube is throttling his channel, and it very likely would grow if there was less censorship. But there's a reality that some people don't want to admit to on who do left media, and it's that their content is kind of shit, and people don't like their content anymore. And it's weird to me that that's never even considered an option for why people stop like watching your show. Because I've seen so many people in Kyle Kulinski's comment section fed up with the direction of his show for the last year. So, and the same with Status Quo and all these other people who just are not keeping up with the changes of this, what's happening in the political climate in this country. There are a lot of people who were once with them because they seem to get it, but now that the times are changing, they aren't keeping up. So they're losing a part of their audience. And instead of acknowledging that that's the case, everybody just wants to chalk it up to the YouTube algorithm. And again, I'm a victim of the YouTube algorithm just like everybody else in this space. But I do think that there's room for some self-reflection about the content that you're putting out and the direction that you're going in and the fact that you're losing your audience. That's partly on you. North American Ape, another $1 donation. Thank you so much for supporting. What the fuck was that? So thank you so much for supporting the show and your donations over the stream. Let me read the comment. Kyle is now technically they're not outright forcing you guy now. Where the idea of coercion is suddenly not another way to mandate shit. Then again, this is a guy proclaiming Biden ended the war when he's still bombing Afghan. I don't know why he's like, if this contrarian take, the online left is too critical of everybody and you got to give credit where it's due. That shit is so stupid. It's so fucking dumb. It's so useless. And it comes off as contrite and forced. And it's almost like when somebody's trying to be a contrarian on purpose. Like, he just keeps trying to find ways to agree with fucking Biden. And I don't know why the fuck he's doing that. Honestly, I don't know why the fuck he's doing that. Let me see some of the more recent chats in the live chat. Google user says, Crystal and Kyle are the new Sonny and Cher. That's funny. That's funny. Honestly, the two of them are in like some weird fucking circle jerk where they just keep giving each other talking points, and like they've shut out literally the rest of the world, and everyone else's opinion be damned. The only thing that carries any weight is what Kyle says, and for Kyle, the only opinion that carries what weight is what Crystal says, and it's fucking weird, and it definitely dragged down the quality of Kyle's content. I'll tell you that. I mean, he was already losing me for a while, but once he started working with Crystal, that was good night, Irene. Plum Drum says status quo is frustrating because they otherwise do good work on the ground. Their take on vaccine is condescending garbage, though. This is my issue with status quo. I respect the reporting that they do. I respect Jordan Sheridan for reporting on Flint for years. He's been doing it for years, longer than any other reporter I can think of. I respect him for that. I respect him when he does his homeless tour, his eviction tour that he did, and he's going city to city talking to people being evicted, talking to homeless people on the street, talking to working people who are homeless that have nowhere to stay. I respect him for doing that. His political commentary is fucking trash. It's shit. And he does this thing where he tries to conflate the two. He acts like because he does good reporting, that now his commentary is gospel and nobody is allowed to challenge him on that because he's out there reporting. And I actually ratioed his ass on Twitter about this because he keeps like anytime anybody criticizes him for some stupid political opinion that he has, whether it's the don't call them sellouts, or you guys are being too critical, or whatever, on whatever issue you can think of, and he has a commentary on. Anytime anybody criticizes him, what are you doing? Are you on the ground talking to people? Are you on the ground doing reporting or whatever? And it's just stop. Stop trying to hide behind you talking to poor people and acting as if that's like now you're it's off limits to criticize you. You talking to poor people doesn't make you right all the time. And honestly, like I said, I respect the work he does. I respect the interviews and the investigative journalism that he does. But that doesn't make you more informed than everybody else because you talk to poor people. Because you know who has a better insight of what it's like to be poor? Fucking poor people. So when poor people critique your commentary, critique your analysis, and try to point out how you're wrong, don't try to cite, I talk to other poor people. Well, bitch, you you might talk to poor people, but that doesn't mean you have better insight than a fucking poor person talking to you. So that's what I'm gonna say on that. So if anybody has anything else, thanks John Carter for subscribing. If anybody has anything else to say, oh fuck me, I remembered what it was in the AOC story that I forgot to mention. So apparently AOC, the night of the Met Gala, I'm gonna cut this video and I'm gonna have to put it to the other one and put it together. But the night of the Met Gala, when people were criticizing her from her left, she was trying to pretend like, I just showed up because I'm a politician in New York and this is for like the can't even think, like this is like and we're supposed to oversee the arts and things like that in New York. So I was invited to the Met Gala. I didn't pay $35,000 for a ticket. That's what she was saying. I think it was a Guardian or somebody did some reporting and found out that none of the politicians that went were given none of them were invited as like special guests for free by the people who hosted the event. So what that means is somebody bought their ticket. And that is a huge red flag because politicians aren't supposed to accept gifts over a certain amount. So what that means is somebody spent $35,000 to get you a ticket to the Met Gala, and we don't know who the fuck that was, and you won't even tell us who that was. So that's kind of weird, and that's definitely sketchy, and that's definitely something that people should follow because that's not a small thing. Somebody spending $35,000 for you on a ticket, and if you did that for the Met Gala and it's not reported, first of all, I'm pretty sure there's some type of either violation with the FEC or whatever, or I'm not going to speculate even further than that, but that might be criminal. But if she did that for this Met Gala, how many times has she taken gifts for thousands of dollars, maybe tens of thousands of dollars, and never reported it? So again, this is what I'm saying. Like, she's in it for herself. All of this is just self-aggrandizement, self-promotion, and speaking on the self-promotion thing, the whole tax to rich thing, everybody's acting as if it was this bold fucking statement. She has a whole fucking merchandise line with the same phrasing on it. So if you look at it from a marketing perspective, she wasn't out there advancing the cause of addressing wealth inequality. She was out there promoting her own fucking brand, literally her merchandise brand, where of tax the rich sweatshirts and t-shirts and hats and all that shit. Her wearing that to the Met Gala, I got a lot of conversation, but it looked like she was doing some self-promotion so she could sell some fucking merch, to be real with you. So I definitely would like to know who bought that ticket. And I definitely want to know how many other gifts is she getting from millionaires and billionaires to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars that she's just not reporting. So, let me see. Assy, I might have pronouncing it wrong. Assy Von Cheeks. No, I'm not. That was good. Great conversation. Thank you, Unapologetic. Thank you for joining the live stream, and thanks for the comment. Yeah, so I think that's it. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for commenting. Thank you all for watching the live stream. Thank you for the donations. Like I mentioned before, many times in the live stream, all the links to help support the show financially are in the description box of this live stream. And I really need the help because every time I record now, because of my housing situation, I have to get a hotel room. So until I can find a place, I have to keep getting hotel rooms to record, to do live streams, and it's eating up some money. So whatever you guys can help donate to help me get a place of my own so I can actually have a official studio, regular studio that I can record from, or anything even just to help me get a hotel room so I can record next week. Anything is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. I'm just going to check the chat one more time before I leave. Zani2 says, Dontel, love the show, but even if she's breaking campaign finance laws, nothing will happen. We are way past that, don't you think? Oh yeah, of course, nothing's gonna happen. But I just think it's incredibly hypocritical that these people who ran on fucking this anti-corruption message are now in their fucking participating in the corruption for their own self-interest. So I just think it's interesting to point out. Fuck no, there's nothing gonna come of it though. The Reaper says, became a patron tonight. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. And again, I'm incredibly grateful for all the people who have signed up for Patreon, because I don't even post content there. So it is really just a way to help support the show every month. and you get the same free content that everybody else is getting. So I think that's one of the best things that you guys can do, is sign up and support monthly on Patreon, or any type of, if you want to do just a one-time contribution. It's incredibly appreciated, because like I said, you're getting the same free content as everybody else, but it just shows that you are you really want to see the show continue. So you're giving your hard-earned money to make sure that happens, and I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining the live stream. I will have videos coming out later during the week. Maybe do another live stream tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But thank you guys for showing up. Y'all know, stay unapologetic. There will be a logo. I will finally have a new logo for the channel. I've had this fucking... I'm so bad at doing all the other shit outside of recording and talking to you all. That picture that I've had on this channel is like a selfie from... That shit had to be from like 2017, to be real with you. And I've just never changed it. So it's I made a new logo. I'll put it up tonight probably. Let me know what you guys think about that. And like I said, thank you for showing up for the live stream. Greatly appreciated. I will